doing another trip. This time I'm just trying to live off the land in the bush. So I've got most of my camping stuff. This is a spot here. You can see up here is the bivvy, and just in front of me, this is the view all the way. So I'm planning on mainly diving this reef here for all my food, and then I'll just show you what I've got with me. So I've got all my spearing gear: spear gun, booties, wetsuit, gloves, catch bag, torch, weight belt with knife, rig cord and float, fins, mask and snorkel, and the dive housing for the camera. I've also brought with me this Bowie knife, little fire steel to get the fires going, 10 litres of water, a pot with a little bowl and spork in it to cook with, and then I've got the bivvy, which is just this outdoor research bivvy, a mat and sleeping bag, also with a head torch, and there's the backpack to keep it all in. So I'm going to be here for the next, I don't know, all of today and then a bit of tomorrow as well. Just trying to eat everything that I get from the ocean. Other than that, I've brought half a bulb of garlic and a lemon just to make the food a bit more interesting. Just went for the first dive of my trip. I got these two guys within minutes of jumping in, just down there. So great start. All I got to do now is get a fire going and cook them up, and then that will be breakfast. I'm just standing on this rock platform here, and as you can see, it's only like a metre or two above where the ocean is at the moment. It's low tide now, so when you get a big high tide and big swell, the water comes over these rocks and it kind of cools in these pools, and once that evaporates, you get all these deposits of salt left behind. So you can see here, it's a pretty good amount of just natural sea salt. So I'm going to collect a bunch of this, and then I'll be able to use that to make the meals a bit more tasty. So what I've done here is just let the fire reduce down to some coals. I've split all the lobsters in half, and I'm just going to lay the shell into the coals and let them cook that way. They're kind of twitching a bit at the moment, but that's just the muscle spasming. Like, I've cut them in half, so they're definitely dead. But yeah, should try and cook them reasonably slowly so they don't overcook, and then I'll just rub some lemon and garlic on it at the end. So I had the lobsters in the coals for about, I don't know, 6 or 7 minutes or so, and then I've moved them out just to the very edges of the fire just to let them finish cooking in the middle in the lower heat for about another 5 minutes or so. So one of the halves over here, got a bit of garlic which I roast in the fire. I'm going to try and crack that one open. And you can see it's all very gooey inside. Just rub that garlic into the lobster, help give it a bit of flavour hopefully, and then hit it with a little bit more salt. And squeeze a lemon. And there you have it. That's actually very good. I was really worried that cooking it just straight in the coals like that would overcook it, but I think doing it that half in then half out of the coals has worked really well. It's got a really nice flavour. Lemon juice goes well with it. You can't really taste the garlic much, but it's alright. Gives it a bit of something. Pretty good. I've just gone for a bit of a wander from the camp, gone for a bit of a walk. I came down to this lake here behind me, you can see. Just nice to have a bit of a swim in, and then now I've also found these warrigal greens. They're a really good plant to forage. They taste just like spinach, and as you can see there's quite a lot of it, and there's a few other patches around here as well, so I'm gonna collect some of this and then I can have that with dinner. I'm walking down to go for a dive again to see if I can get some lunch, hopefully a couple of abalone, because I don't have the spear gun this time, but the wind's really come up and so it's a swell. You can see down there. I've had another successful dive. I've gotten 2 of these abalone, which will be a pretty good feed. So all I've got to do now is clean them up. To that, just shuck them out of the shell. Then cut off these guts. Also got this mouth kind of thing which is hard, which I like to cut out as well. That's it, mostly cleaned out. So they can be really tough, the abalone, so in order to prevent that, just get a rock and then give them a few good whacks all over. to get them nice and tender. So after this, all I'll do is slice it up, give it a wash first actually, but then slice it up and yeah, take it back to camp. I've got all my abalone cut up and ready to go. Got a little fire going with the pot that's been heating up for a while now, so it's going to be cranking hot. And I'm just going to chuck all this in, get it frying. There's no oil, which is kind of weird to be just chucking it in the pan dry, but I don't have any oil, so that's what I got to do. You can see it's like instantly sticking. That sucks, but I don't know. I'll get back to you when I've finished cooking it all. All finished cooking now. I've hit it with a bit of salt just to season it, give it some lemon juice as well. Mixed in. See how it is. Despite not having the oil, it's actually cooked pretty well. Yeah, and just garlic, lemon juice and abalone, it always works, so it's a good little lunch. It's starting to get pretty late now, the sun's already gone down, but I haven't shot anything for dinner yet, so you can see the wind's died off a bit. So I'm just going to try and jump in really quickly and shoot something. It's the second morning. I did end up going for a spear last night kind of thing, and I got this guy, red morwong. In the end I wasn't very hungry though, so I didn't end up cooking it. So for breakfast this morning, that's what I'm going to have. I've also still got these warrigal greens to cook up. The warrigal greens have a toxin in them which you have to blanch to get out, so I'm just going to boil up some water and then put them in for a minute or so and then strain the water and they'll be good to go. And then the fish is just going to be whole roasted in the fire. Once I boil these, they're really going to shrink down in size. So while it looks a lot now, once all the water comes out of them, there's actually not that much there. You can see the fish is almost done. It's quite black on the outside, but the scales work well to protect the flesh on the inside, allowing you to cook it just straight on the fire like that. So what I'm going to do is cook off these warrigal greens, then take the fish out, peel the skin off, pick all the flesh off the carcass, and then mix it up with the warrigal greens. Hit it with a bit of lemon juice, and then that's breakfast. And here's the final meal. Warrigal greens with the baked red morwong from the campfire. Pretty good. So I'm all packed up. As you can see, got everything on behind me, and I'm just walking back to the car now from the spot I was camping at. It was a really good trip this time. There was heaps of fish and different stuff to eat around on that reef, so definitely could live there for quite a while if I had to. The food was all pretty tasty. The garlic and lemon worked well. Some oil or butter would have been nice, but can't be too picky. I think it all went pretty well, all in all. So yeah, now just walk back to the car and head home.